Welcome back to Movies Explained. Today's film is a drama mystery from 2001 titled Impostor. In the year 2034, Earth faces an unprecedented threat as a hostile alien race from the Alpha Centauri system launches devastating attacks, though they remain unseen. By 2050, the cities are shielded to safeguard against continuous assaults, and a global totalitarian military leadership replaces democracy. As a child, Spencer had dreams of exploring space through rocket building. However, the war against the aliens shifts government priorities, resulting in the loss of his father, the cancellation of space travel, and Spencer's transformation into a weapons designer. Fast forward to the year 2079, Spencer is now happily married to Maya, his beloved. One morning, while watching the news, they discover that the Chancellor plans to visit their region secretly following a significant colony loss. Additionally, a mysterious fire has devastated Sutton Woods, leaving its cause unknown. Maya heads to the overburdened Veterans Hospital dealing with the casualties from the ongoing war. Meanwhile, Spencer goes to the project, a weapon research facility where he meets his friend Nelson to discuss their upcoming meeting with the Chancellor. Spencer also recalls his recent camping trip to Sutton Woods, which occurred just before the fire. They notice heightened security due to the Chancellor's visit. While examining the latest weapon, a massive bomb, Major Hathaway from the Earth Security Administration, also known as ESA, interrupts them. Hathaway unexpectedly tasers Spencer, leaving him shaking in pain on the ground. Guards prevent Nelson from helping as they take Spencer away on a stretcher. On his way out, Spencer experiences disjointed memories and hallucinations. Moments later, he regains consciousness, finding himself strapped to a chair in a mysterious room. Hathaway enters and speaks about Spencer's life as though he were someone else. The shocking truth emerges as Hathaway explains that Spencer is not who he believes himself to be. 3 days prior, the ESA intercepted a Centauri intelligence courier who revealed an elaborate plan to infiltrate Earth. The aliens would use humanoid genetic cyborgs to replace real people, stealing their memories and DNA, all while remaining undetected. Spencer's name is on the aliens' hit list, suggesting that the current Spencer is a cyborg sent to assassinate the Chancellor during their meeting. Although Spencer vehemently denies this reality, Hathaway presents a recording of another cyborg who held firm to his human identity, even under duress. The cyborg spoke about his family until the very end, convinced he was human. In the recording, a machine removed the cyborg's heart, revealing a Centauri U-bomb that could only be triggered by a specific word or event. As the situation unfolds, Spencer becomes acutely aware that he could be the next victim of the cyborg plot. He spots Nelson at the window and tries to plead for his help. But to his dismay, Nelson seems to believe the story and remains distant. Hathaway orders his team to prepare the machine, and suddenly, Spencer starts to act like a robot, pretending to be loyal to the Centauri. Although Hathaway sees through the act, Spencer seizes the opportunity when the guards approach, grabbing a tool from the medical tray to attack them and snatch a gun. Using a guard as a shield and hostage, Spencer's attempt to negotiate fails, and Hathaway shoots anyway, forcing Spencer to drop to the ground and escape through an evacuation tunnel. The building's alarms blare as he runs through the stairs, stumbling and colliding with barrels, leaving him feeling dizzy and in pain. Spencer hides in a corner, awaiting the elevator's arrival, hoping for a way out. The elevator eventually opens, but instead of safety, it reveals more guards ready to shoot. Spencer takes decisive action and shoots them first, eliminating the threat. He steps into the elevator only to find Nelson inside, injured by his unintentional gunfire. In a desperate attempt to save his friend, Spencer clings to him. But the arrival of Hathaway and his guards force him to escape once again through another evacuation tunnel. Finally, Spencer emerges into a dim corridor, reaching out to call Maya. Despite hearing about his alleged treason, he implores her for help, explaining his plan to prove his true identity by comparing medical files. However, Maya, concerned for the hospital's safety, urges him not to come and abruptly hangs up. Spencer continues to run, but the intensity of his memories begins to overwhelm him, causing visions that momentarily disorient him. Pushing through the distress, Spencer presses on and emerges from the underground facility into a war-ravaged area outside the city. ESA flying cars patrol the skies, searching for him. Dodging the beams of light, Spencer races as fast as he can, determined to evade capture. Meanwhile, at the ESA headquarters, Hathaway's superior berates him for not having a scan of Spencer's bomb, especially with the Chancellor's imminent arrival. Hathaway explains the challenge of detecting Centaur nanotechnology, emphasizing that attempting to shoot the bomb would trigger an explosion. They have no choice but to monitor Spencer and wait for him to make a mistake. Back to Spencer, he manages to evade the searching ESA cars by taking refuge in an impoverished neighborhood filled with war-affected individuals. Unbeknownst to him, the government has ubiquitous trackers, and they quickly locate him using the SIM code implanted in every citizen's body. Seeking refuge, Spencer enters an abandoned building, ignoring a girl's warning as he breaks in through a window. Inside the building, Spencer navigates through some shady characters, eventually reaching a room where he frantically enters the bathroom. A falling toothbrush startles him, and noticing blood on his hand, he clings to this physical evidence as a reminder of his humanity. Meanwhile, the neighborhood erupts with activity as ESA cars arrive, and everyone scrambles to hide, with guards displaying Spencer's picture and questioning people. Through a window, Spencer spots Hathaway and his team deploying a scanning device to locate him inside the building. Swiftly reacting, Spencer flees, racing through dark corridors as the guards pursue him relentlessly. He makes a sudden turn and hides in another room, but just as the guards close in, a different group intervenes, covering Spencer's head with a bag and rushing him away. The mysterious rescuers confine Spencer in a cell, deliberating over what to do next, wondering if there's a reward for handing him over. Kale, their leader, deems it too risky to keep him and decides to take him to the Interdome border to hand him over to the Border Patrol. In a desperate bid to influence Kale's decision, Spencer offers money and food rations, but Kale remains cautious, pointing his gun at him. Spencer then proposes medicine instead and provides his wife's system code as collateral. Kale uses his computer to verify Maya's access to medicine, and convinced by Spencer's assurance that she would do anything to get her husband back, Kale agrees to the deal. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Hathaway interrogates Maya and shares the news of Nelson's death. However, Maya adamantly refuses to believe that her husband could be a copy, insisting she hasn't heard from Spencer. In the old neighborhood, Kale brings Spencer to their modest hospital, where a skilled doctor swiftly removes the SIM code from Spencer's back. After witnessing Kale's care for his people, Spencer sees how dedicated Kale is to his people. Before leaving, Spencer decides to keep his SIM code, opting not to destroy it. Leaving the hospital through a secret tunnel, Spencer and Kale encounter a suspicious group of people. Kale diffuses the situation through conversation, but when they turn hostile, a skirmish ensues. Kale's combat prowess shines as he fights off their attackers, and together, they survive the confrontation. Spencer confides in Kale, explaining that he is wanted due to suspicions of being a cyborg with a bomb inside. However, Kale dismisses the notion and they continue their journey, sneaking through the city's barriers. Feeling increasingly paranoid, Spencer's mind becomes overwhelmed with memories, causing him to pass out. Kale rescues him, and Spencer expresses sympathy for Nelson's death. Hathaway and his men approach, but Spencer successfully disguises himself in the crowd and drops the SIM code in his pocket. Fortunately, Hathaway doesn't recognize him and heads in another direction when they receive an alert from Spencer's SIM code. Seizing the opportunity, Spencer and Kale sneak into the hospital through an abandoned area. However, they face a locked door that resists all their efforts to open it. Resourceful, they use a metal bar to stop the roof fans and create an exit. Though they must be cautious of flying ambulances' light beams, they manage to steal some equipment and disguise themselves as a doctor-patient duo. Moving through the hospital's corridors, they avoid attention despite Spencer's wanted image displayed. Spotting Maya, Spencer restrains himself from approaching her to stay unnoticed. Meanwhile, the ESA continues their pursuit until Hathaway discovers Spencer's SIM code in his pocket. He recalls his men and scolds them before ordering a search of the hospital. Returning to Spencer, he cleverly uses the stolen gloves to access different areas of the hospital, opening doors with fingerprints left on the latex. Cale is grateful for the medicine they gather, giving Spencer his gun as a token of appreciation. While retrieving his old studies from his wife's office, Spencer stumbles upon a recording of himself pretending to be a robot for Hathaway, which leaves him questioning reality. Cornering Dr. Carone in the bathroom, a friend of Maya's, Spencer learns she left with the ESA half an hour ago. Desperate to prove his innocence, Spencer forces Carone to take him to the room with the scanners. They attempt to start the comparison study but are interrupted by an alarm set off by a Carone to alert the guards. A nurse unwittingly enters the room, and Carone discreetly sends her away before warning Cale of Spencer's presence. As the guards approach, the machine's recalibration halts the comparison study, and Cale advises Spencer to run. A fight ensues, with Spencer and Cale combating the guards. Despite taking down one guard, Spencer sustains an injury, and Cale also gets hurt. After patching up Cale's wound, they manage to escape to the station, hearing news that the Chancellor's visit has been cancelled and the fire in Sutton Woods is mostly under control. Spencer contacts Maya again, but she can't talk freely due to being watched. He instructs her to meet him at the place they first met. Upon reuniting, Spencer explains about the alien spaceship and how it caused the fire, but they realize their camping trip occurred before the incident, making Spencer innocent. As the ESA closes in, they discover the spaceship and its cockpit, which leads to a shocking revelation. The alien cyborgs had replaced Maya. Hathaway admits his mistake, but Spencer opens the cockpit and discovers the real Maya's body inside. Disturbed by the revelation, the cyborg Maya runs away but is shot and killed by Hathaway. The guards retrieve the real Maya's body while Spencer clings to the cyborg. Devastated by the truth, the guards find a second alien pod containing Spencer's real body, revealing that Spencer is also a cyborg. His bomb is triggered by realizing he is fake. When Spencer sees the person he killed, he detonates the bomb, causing destruction and killing everyone in the area. In the aftermath, Cale helps people with medicine in the hospital while the news reports on the incident in the forest, portraying Spencer as a patriotic researcher and a wanted man. This leaves Cale questioning whether he had ever truly known the real Spencer.